I'm back, guys.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Hi. Yes, just 1 second. So we just very, very quickly moved here down to the open mic room, and we actually have got people in the audience listening as well behind the camera. Yeah. Hi, thank you for staying.
Pavlina is also there.
Yes, hello guys. Do you hear me? Do you see me?
Yeah, we can see you, Pavlina.
Oh, hi there.
You see better live.
Yeah. So before we start the panel, do you quickly want to share some news, Pavlina, with us? She's tuning in from the Czech Republic in Prague.
Yes, hello. So, thank you for having me. And the big news are always the things that the reception concept is in general changing. So we are there. We're able with MyStay to do all this stuff with automatization. And we're launching a new product within the MyStay, which calls the check-in agent, which is helping digitalize 100% of the check-ins. So this is actually something that we have a news in MyStay, and we are ready to move on with the panel.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are so missing you here in Berlin. Pavlina, you are so inspiring and so amazing. We've got some other female founders in the panel as well, and looking forward to see you very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in with us. Now, let's start the AI session. So it's a Women in AI session because we didn't find any man for the session. And
here,
very hard. We looked very hard. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Difficult.
Can you hear me, Rita?
Come on. So we've got Jana Friede from Giata from here in Berlin. Hi, Jana. Hi. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. So you've been busy catching up on ITB, not remotely from your office around the corner, right?
Yes, so I had a few appointments even in the hotel today.
Okay.
So that was really interesting, and I'm looking forward for the panel discussion.
Yeah, and you've got some announcement to make during the session as well, where we are going to talk about Giata.
Yes, we can do that.
And then we've got Vanessa Borkman. She's head of research and founder of the Future Hotel Innovation Network at Fraunhofer Institute.
Right.
Yeah, and also based here in Berlin.
Yes, right. Hello.
Yeah, hi. How has the week been for you?
I thought there are many changes in the program, but actually I had almost every appointment as scheduled, just taking place at a different spot. So it was quite busy.
Yeah. We all came together at the end. So
yeah.
And then we've got Vivian Richter, who is also here from Berlin. She is the founder and CEO of Citris.ai. Hi, welcome. How was the week for you?
Oh, crazy.
Well, we are all missing ITB. Just don't fool us. And Olga, which would have been your first ITB, right?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. But you were looking forward to it very much coming.
I was.
Yeah. So you are the co-founder and CEO of Dialogue Shift, right? Yes. And we are all here, Women in AI. My name is Rita Varga. And in this case, I'm not only Women in Hospitality and Travel Tech, but I'm also representing Hera by Hotel Resbot, which is an AI tool as well. So let's just kick off the conversation with what is actually AI for you, Jana?
Well, the topic of AI is quite large, and to speak about it in general, I think it will be something which really helps us in the future and will dissolve all the processes in the next 10 years. So it will something which really will turn the hotel industry, where I'm coming from originally, upside down.
In a good way.
In a good way, but in an unexpected way.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa?
Yeah, it's quite hard to bring it all together in one sentence, but I think AI is a tool which supports automation processes, and it should be used to support human work and to enable humans to concentrate, if we talk about hospitality and travel, about people interaction and transaction and about human services. And I think an AI could be an enabler to support people in the future to have more fun at work, to have more focus on the really important matters of their work, and to support social interaction at the end, because we have more time to spend on that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you very much.
That was really good.
Wonderful. But I maybe can add, so for me, AI actually means that another set of technology. It's not the only one we should focus on, but it is a very important technology that actually, as you said, helps people within the hospitality industry to focus on guests. And this is actually where we can, with technology, enable the next iteration of hospitality travel tech. And this is a very important very important time we're in, right? So there's a lot of things to do and to get fixed before we can really talk AI. But indeed, we have challenging times ahead for hospitality industry. And yeah, I think we will need a lot of investment in the next years to achieve what we want to call AI.
Yeah, I mean AI. It's this word is used so often, and when you look behind it, sometimes it's simply Excel, as or a spreadsheet, something you do with a spreadsheet. And I don't remember who said it. It was at a conference, and it was an AI specialist, a software developer working in this field, and he said it's only artificial intelligence if it's written in Python, and if it's not artificial intelligence. And but I think for me, artificial intelligence is a very good computer program. And a computer program that does one thing very, very well, either if it's complex data prediction, or it's imitation of a human interaction, but a simple one. So what small tasks very, very well that support humans.
But tasks, can we repeat it?
Yes,
I mean,
right.
that's
Repeatable tasks, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what is also a character of AI is that it's scalable, that you can really use it only for a simple task and for 1,000 of the same task in the same second.
I think because the challenges differ from, in the hospitality industry, from hotel to hotel, from restaurant to restaurant, to bar, you can't define with one word, because you are solving the individual needs of each of these properties, restaurants, etc. Right? So you can't pinpoint, okay, I'm saying I'm coming from the direct reservation word, booking engine. A booking engine has 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and you can customize it to a certain point, but it still doesn't adapt individually. There is a sort of path that is always repeating itself, and AI is a different thing that really adapts to the personal need. That's why our perception of AI, I think, or definition of AI differs in that sense. And I wanted to ask, especially the two of you that you are founders, what were your challenges? What was your pain that you decided, I need to fix this somehow? I need to find a solution to my challenge, Vivian.
Yeah, I mean, so I come from the restaurant world, and I used to be a restaurant manager, mostly for fine dining restaurants. So full service industry is what I'm very familiar with. Now we're entering more into a quick service industry, which is very exciting. And I just found out, so the reason why I founded Cetrus, which is actually the combination of Tetris with seats, is the fact that actually you can do the math in the restaurant, and you can try to fill the space the most ideal way possible as a restaurant manager, but in the end you will always lose. You can't win the game, so you can't win the Tetris game.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny, so I play that before even evening shift starts, for instance, but it can also be that you play it within a shift, because the reality is, in the past 10 years with the internet and everything that happened, the customer has totally changed. So now the customer is actually visiting your business online. We have this transitioning from the phone that you actually that you used to pick up as a restaurateur, and then you talk to guests. And we are now in this period in the DACH market to transition from I bring all of these processes online. And the reality is that's quite tricky. And there have been a lot of companies, very prominent companies out there, which actually try to solve that puzzle. But at the end, we found out mostly this puzzle is actually a puzzle that needs to be solved by a machine that can learn. And actually what we try to do is we replace the human task. And this is, for me, this is one of the most exciting things we're up to, because when you look at the restaurant manager, at a smart manager, these guys, a really good one, he can fill the space ideally. But the problem we have is we're losing this kind of talent in our industry. There's no education how to do these processes. They differ. So every kind of restaurant is unique. So you can't just say, I'm doing this for this restaurant in that way, and I can just repeat it with another restaurant. So it doesn't really work. So it's so fascinating that you have this human interaction that is very individual, and it needs actually smart people. But then I once said, it's funny, I think I was quite good at the Tetris game, but now I try to build a machine out of myself and the people that we work with now in these different types of restaurants, so that we can start to replace the human aspect of the sales process that is going to be digital in the future. So it lasts from table reservations to offerings to any kind of change you want to make. So you don't want to pick up the phone to the restaurant anymore and say, I'm not going to be 5 people, I'm going to be 3 people. You all want to do this online. And this is for us the biggest challenge to overcome. So how do we replace a human if you really want to do it smart? Because if you don't do it smart, if you do reservations the wrong way, you will lose 20 to 30% of your money, of the revenue you can make. And this is actually where I decided to go down that road and build a very challenging, but yeah, now also very successful and promising tool that we have now.
Olga?
Well, for us, a dialogue shift, basically the problem is for many hotels that the customer behavior has changed, and also the customer expectations. And this is especially true for communications, for guest communication and guest interaction. So we, customers, hotel guests, we want instant information. We want an easy access to information, to services. We want the answer now. We can't wait for an email for one day. We don't want to pick up the phone and call the hotel. We want a low threshold for communication. And this is where conversational AI comes in place, because a person, for example, a front desk staff, they can't answer the same questions all day and do then the personal interactions at the same time. So what conversational AI can do here is take care of the repetitive, of the simple tasks, and do the interactions, like human-like interactions, human-like digital dialogues with the customer, the simple tasks, and whenever it gets complicated, it hands over to a human. So for us in our field, it's like the best example for AI and a human working together, because only AI wouldn't do the job that well. Only humans, too much workload. Working together is solving a very good problem.
Yeah. Mark the words. It's not replacing completely human, because we do need the human touch, and we do need to collaborate with machines. And that's, I think, a wrong perception of society and understanding AI in a different ways, and it needs to be made clear. You do need the human. We just want to, collectively help with AI to replace the tasks that you hate the most.
Yeah, actually, AI replaces the robots and the humans.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that we have a changing process in our working world, and it affects every sector. And it's really not about substituting the humans, but there are also many new jobs and new tasks arising. And we need the people in those jobs that are relevant in the future, and not in jobs that can be replaced by machines. And that's a change process that we are in right now.
What is interesting to perceive is that people always tend to be a little afraid of the word AI because they have that Steven Spielberg movie in their heads and think that AI is gonna kill us all. But when you look very closer, and from what I do with the data management and building a dashboard for the hotel industry, we already use that technology and we use algorithm to get rid of processes we are no longer able to do. When you have a huge amount of data and a huge amount of text which needs to be translated, sooner or later you need to find an algorithm who does that for you, because you can't do 80 million codes by hand. You're not able to do that manually, but a machine does, an algorithm can, and an algorithm is able to be trained on languages, to speak in a human way, to learn how sentences are built and to translate it in other languages. So we're already using that, or we're using it for motive recognition, for images, so that you're not going to tag each and every image and write down, okay, this is an entry and this is a bedroom and this is that. So this is what we already use, and it's AI. It's a very weak AI, but it is still AI. And when you tell that to people, then they also, oh, gosh, I'm afraid. But there is no way to be afraid of that.
But there are scary parts, I have to admit. There are scary parts.
Okay,
Like, for example, what you mentioned, when somebody takes a picture of me and runs it through a program, says it's Olga Häuser, here's the whole data about her, everything I could find online about her, and everyone could do this, I would want it. And actually this technology already exists, but it's not accessible, but I'm waiting until it is. And this is really something, this is a part of AI I wouldn't want to say afraid of, but I'm skeptic.
But being a founder that actually runs an AI company, I can tell you this is what scares me most is that I know that it's human beings who build that AI, and it's actually, it's trial and error most of the time.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't underestimate. This is why I said at the beginning. So I think it is a total myth about the reality that we're going to scale. We don't get rid of the humans. So I would even say, we actually just make a transfer. Because what we maybe do is we replace maybe we replace the phone assistant of the restaurant or the entry desk of the hotel. But at the end, so we replace them for developers. We need to take care and make sure that everything you develop actually works trustworthy. I think this is a huge topic that no one is really covering right now. So this is a free market right now where actually everything can be built. But there's no trust process behind that. So I think there's a lot of initiatives that trying to build that trust. In Fraunhofer, there's a lot of projects that encourage more to invest into this. But let's be honest, most of the investments that are made, they just cover quick scale of a company. But the reality is we need to quickly start discussing how we can build mature AI that is trustworthy. And this means we need more manpower. We just transfer the manpower from the hotel or the restaurant over to the development teams. And yes, at the end, we can scale on a different level with a tech company. But I think there's a total underestimation of what is needed to build mature AI.
But I also think it's a very dangerous technology. There's much power in it, but it's very dangerous. And I am missing the ethic and legal framework for it. I mean,
Totally.
that's really something serious to work on. Needs to be worked on.
Yeah. We had a very interesting discussion a few weeks ago when a neighbor stepped by and was asking, okay, my daughter is going to be 16. Which profession should be applied to? Which studies should she apply to? Is it really interesting to go to the finance department, to the finance industry, or shall she apply for medicine? Will there be doctors anymore? And I think that there is a lack of education within our schools and within the people. We are not educating people on AI and what AI really means in the future. Everybody is kind of afraid that the jobs will be gone, but
as long as the job really needs to have a emotional aspect or emotional interaction, there always will be a need for it. No robot can have an emotional intercourse in a way that there always will be a robot and he will do what he's trained for. And as long as we not have this super artificial intelligence, which is much better than a human being, then I think the emotional interaction still should be with the humans and is needed.
But I believe, for the hospitality industry, the biggest chance AI actually is the fact that we have a lack of talent and we have a lack of finding human beings who are willing to work for hotels or restaurants. So we are entering this kind of stage, which is kind of crazy, because there will be a time when this will shift around. And then we will have an opposite situation. I'm very sure of this, that this is going to happen. But at the end, I believe, it's the biggest chance for hospitality to invest into the human being, to enable them to actually do better service.
Yeah.
And this is what we actually want. We don't find the time for that right now.
Yeah. But we are always thinking about investing in human being. But I don't know what is your experience when hotels are looking for new tools. Number one is guest experience. And looking towards guest experience. We participated in a panel a couple of weeks ago, and then there were hoteliers speaking actually about focusing on that guest experience, and of course, to enhance that guest experience, there are the people behind, which we are now talking about. But when hoteliers are looking, the number one is, how can I make more revenue, and how are my guests having that seamless experience, right? And then looking at my people,
But I think what I experienced from the industry is we totally underestimate how to train our managers and in the leading positions what leadership actually means in this new age. So in the age of new work and the expectation management of your employees, there's two things needed. So it's investment into leadership skills, totally different ones than 10 years ago. And on the other hand, I think so training is something that becomes super important. So I can just give an interesting example of a pilot that we currently trial with a voice assistant. So where we see two interesting things about this. So we use this voice assistant actually not for the end customer. We use it for the restaurant staff. So they use it to quicker communicate with each other or with the tool they use. And they get rid of the interface, which is the next iteration of what will happen. But there's also another chance. It's a chance to train the stuff, which currently can't be done by the managers, because actually, if you're a restaurant manager these days, you're a multiple personality. So you actually need to separate yourself into 5 persons. So you're a leader, you're a marketing expert, you're a sales guy, you actually host guests, by the way. And I could probably count out this accounting that you also need to run. So it's just too much. So, and this is even before we start thinking about the tools we use, we should think about these two aspects of leadership and how can we manage to train.
So digital competencies. I can support this. We just made a survey in the last year with 4,000 participants from the hospitality sector, all employees from all different fields. And one of the findings was that people are really suffering, that they are not trained in digital tools. They are asking for it. And there is no manager who can explain them how to use digital tools. That's really a problem.
But why, excuse me, why is that?
Why?
This is the
Why?
age gap.
Because those people,
Because of
who are
age.
in the management level,
Yes,
they did not
exactly.
learn it.
Okay.
They are not
that it's-
educated.
It's
in that
moving so
matter.
fast. So the availability of
Yeah.
tools is so tricky, because actually, so what we learned when we, for instance, work with larger chains, there's a missing concept for a tech stack and how to build it at all. So how do you plug and play the different tools that you use for guest experience, but also for staff? How do you do that? So, and what's the direction you want to go? So there's also a totally missing talent of the digital officer, who is the skilled personality, which can bridge the gap between tech and operations. So there's a missing understanding of what is really needed as a skill set.
I totally agree, because what I realized in the hotel world is that there are a lot of silos and they are not communicating with each other. And then you have a tool which was bought for that silo and one for that silo and one for that silo. But what is missing is a person who links all together. And then you have the generation gap, what I said, that you have a manager which had been trained 20 years ago, and you have a younger generation which came into the hotel industry. Their expectations are totally different from them who are doing the job since 20 or 25 years. So to bring them together, there is the missing link. There is no concept to train the established people on the needs of the upcoming generation. So I think this is the main issue in
But
the
I
industry.
mean, but you have a generation gap in every industry. So it's not this is not a hospitality specific problem, but
But
still
we are
other
in
industries.
hospitality.
But I mean in other industries this is different, right? You have more digital competence within the whole organization.
Yeah, but it's also it's not directly related. But you said you are scared. Your perception towards getting technology into hospitality, you are scared of it or of the future. But have you Googled yourself? Like, how many have you Googled yourself? And you see your image there, and you can find images that you thought they were lost. But Google's algorithms are actually so sophisticated that they can just grab something from the past that you long forgot because it's so good. And are you surprised? Are you scared? Maybe, but not as scared as I got the vibe when you were saying, oh, that's a scary move, because that's Google and I'm fine with it. But then I have to get something into my business, and that's scary, you know?
Sorry, Vanessa, I interrupted you. Please tell more about the study.
I can talk a lot about it, but I think it results in the one thing that people are afraid of using digital tools and technology, and that's something that we have to overbind somehow. And the other topic that we had in the survey was about leadership and about flexibilization of work in terms of how can you support employees in the different fields by flexibility, spatial flexibility, flexibility in time and in content, so what they are working on. And this was also very interested that people are very interested in more flexibility in their work schedules, and they are very open for it. You can't say it in general. We made a cluster analysis and looked for each different working sector, but to bring it in brief altogether, people are open. And I think now it's a matter of how can you support and how can you build up a process that they are supported in their business and that jobs are sexy again.
This is the biggest investment actually is into culture. So I can maybe also tell that story as a founder. And I mean, this is the first time I've grown a company to over 22 people now. And my learnings were it's always about, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, a hotel, or a tech startup. At the end, you have these kind of, growing stages where you need to build a culture. So, and then you need to ask yourself, how do I build a culture of curiosity, right? So how do you make my employees staying curious? And I think it starts with the fact that I need to invest to give them the time to be curious, which we can't manage. So in a restaurant, in a hotel, how do you do that? So you can't put them on a 4-day work week. So it's I mean we're.
But you couldn't. Why? I mean,
in a tech company I can do it, but this is
I think
one of the tricky things in the hospitality industry.
That's
right?
also the change process. And it's funny that you talk now about curiosity, because our Fraunhofer Future Forum this year had the title Curiosity of Your Organization, and how can you stay curious?
It's what I
I think
learned, So I had this period of
really
time where
important.
my team was, at the tipping point of either losing curiosity or we bring it back. And this was a super exciting moment where I made some management changes. I put the right people into the right seat in my company, and this had a total impact on their curiosity level also. So
And curiosity goes along with creativity.
exactly. So but it's hard to build. So it's nothing that goes overnight. So it's a process. And
Their leadership comes back, because the leadership mentality that we have in Germany is rather leadership by I've learned the things and I've done it for so many years, so that must be right. And so the generation which is it's coming up now doesn't accept that anymore. So they are looking if the grass might be greener on the other side of the fence, and they are moving. And then, especially in the hotel industry, everyone is asking them, why, for the sake of God, are they moving? They have a job, they are paid, everything is fine, but it isn't. And the curiosity level is something where most of the hotel industry, and maybe the travel industry too, it's not a natural habit to them. So it's not a culture which is trained, and there are no learning processes in the company already established, because this is not something trendy. This is not something which brings money instantly.
That's the
So-
point. It doesn't bring money. It doesn't show value from the very beginning or return on investment. So it's your belief that you invest into this long-term relationship with your employees, into the culture, and it doesn't
Yes.
pay back.
Do you want to add something?
I just have a question, not a question, but like, so all of your, or what you're using AI for is for the purpose of gaining for your business, for your whatever, whether it's for money. But I'm listening to you guys speak, and like, I work with a lot of teenagers, and it's actually doing harm. So I know for your business and hospitality and travel and all these glamorous things, it's great. But I think what's happening in humanity, we can see what's happening in the world, that people actually need Earth and not to be so focused on computers and technology, because there is a missing component with emotion. So if we're not teaching kids or people from the beginning, because it seems to be a lot of focus on technology, but what if you put the same focus actually into humans?
But I think that's exactly the point, is let technology do its thing, and then you can focus on the human aspect of it.
I don't think that's happening though. Well, with results of what's happening in the world, that's actually not happening. So what do you do about the results of that not being reality? Like, we say that, and it's beneficial for you, but what about the human beings that technology is actually causing? Like, I work with 16-year-old girls, and they're completely like, when I was 16, I was still going skating and enjoying my life, and they can't, to them, they're not even kids anymore because they're so obsessed with the phone. And I get the purpose of it, but I think there's a missing component where I think we're leaving out like the reality of human beings in general, because it's for revenue. People want to grow and build and create these empires, but I think humans themselves are being left behind.
Yeah, but I think
I disagree. Because if you talk to your grandmother, she will say the same thing about your mother. Your mother says the same thing about you. And you will say the same thing about your kid. That's just the normal evolution that you have. And you cannot, and you should not stop or block creativity, because this will lead us in the other direction. But you're right. What we have to bring to the table is a clear vision of what brings you further. How do you use AI to make your life better? And work is part of life.
Right.
And if you have a work that requires 80% the same duty, like putting the button all the time, it's quite smart to develop something that does that for you, to give you the freedom to concentrate on something that will give you more ease. And if you're a person that you really love to keep on doing that, you'll find a job to do that. But I think the purpose is to use AI for those people at my front office that still have to carry loads and paperwork and keep them 13 years somewhere in a basement.
Right.
Because that is no work that nobody will do. When I tell them I need the guy who checked in 7 years ago at the 15th of March, literally they have to be able to physically retrieve this paper. That is hell. And that is where we give them freedom to explore what they want to do. And what they want to do is they want to talk to people and make them happy. So I think that is the role of where we have to stick AI. And you're all great founders. For you, it still have to be a money that you invest, and you still not invested to put it in the air. That is the thing that you're leveling.
And I just want to say something in regards of the kids, because I'm a mother of 2 8-year-olds, a boy and a girl. And my son started, we are a tech household. My husband is a software engineer, so they very early came in touch with mobile gadgets, with the computers, with laptops and so on. The thing is that I think it's the responsibility of parents to have an eye on that. This is first.
Yeah.
So as a mother and a father, we decide what our children see. And I really doubt that providing them not with technical gadgets or with computers is helping them in the future.
Correct.
What they really need to do is they need to understand how these things work, how these things can be worked with. And I totally assist my son that he started programming when he was 7. Why not? He's now writing code and he enjoys it. And this is a kind of creativity. My daughter is not interested in computers at all, but she listens to music and she listens to podcasts and so on. Why not doing that? I don't think that they are losing creativity, but what we don't want, and this is a kind of a rule, is that they overgo a certain amount of time and spend it with the gadget. There need to be a balance in between the time they spend out of the house, in the garden, going for other activities like sport or something like that, and the time they spend with these kind of gadgets. But I think it's the mix.
Yeah.
So the 16-year-old girl, I know that most of them are obsessed about their mobiles because the community of them is within that mobile, but that will go away.
I think there will be
hope so.
even trend against that and for future generations. So my son is 5.5 now, so it's interesting. So I think his generation will maybe fully go against that. That's why I said
Maybe.
hospitality is the chance that this kind of human interaction. So this is a period of time of maybe 5 to 7 years now where we will all struggle to find our ways, but then the human interaction will just play the biggest role and have the biggest impact on sales in the restaurant industry. It will be that one thing that sells. So people will come to a hotel or to go to a restaurant because they have a human interaction and experience, and people they can can form a community there. So they meet there because they are a community, and I think this is the chance for hospitality. So there will be a back trend.
But I think you can say that for hospitality in general, because there are a lot of travelers out there who don't care about human interaction, and it's fine. It's okay. Sometimes when you work the whole day, you just don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to go up in your room and watch Netflix, and it's okay. And there are hotels or different concepts, long stay concepts, where you don't have humans at all. You only have technology. And it's okay. Why not? There are enough people out there say, I would prefer that. And for those who prefer human interaction, they would go into another hotel where there are more humans they can interact with, more people who work there, or hotels like the student hotel where you have a community and they know that there is a community and I can be part of something bigger. But it's like there are different segments and different needs people have, and it's totally fine to have hospitality products for these different needs.
Yeah.
And I love the way I was at the office yesterday with Philip here at the student hotel. He just pulled up his iPad and was looking through his charts, having the meeting. So are we hitting this budget? What is happening with that budget? And I was like, okay, so that's digitalization for you and using your time well. And then you see him all day long on the floor,
Entertaining.
It's great. You're the best example.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
But I think so. What we are talking here now towards digitalization itself, but back to AI. I think AI is your silent partner.
See, I think that's the jargon. Like even saying AI, like you said earlier, I think even maybe not you guys, but kind of making it so everyone's on the same page and not have it be a language that people are like, what are you talking? Because again, like you said, the whole movie, because it's true. It really is true. And then when you think of like Amazon and you think of Facebook and all the like invasion that happens from it. It is scary. Like you said, your face comes up in Google. And I'm not okay with that personally, but you may be. That may be okay for you. You're not?
No, I am.
Oh, yeah.
I love it if you have a commercial that is targeting to you.
Right, and that's.
I'm not building things I'm not a builder.
Right.
So I always bored when I get commercials about builders, but there's something that I'm a guy that buys stuff on Instagram because he's like.
You see it.
Do you not think though that you will eventually get profiles just for the family that you want?
That's a totally different.
But you know what the answer is. You have to have a very clear profile of your values.
Yeah.
And if you have strong and clear values and you deliver these values to your peers, and I don't talk about only our kids, I talk about the students, the co-workers, people above you, left and right. And if you stand for a value and you keep on standing for that, I think that's the answer to what you have towards humanity.
Yeah.
Because there will be people. My ex-girlfriend, she hated being like targeted for something. She hated that. She opened her mobile and she had a commercial because she was Googling beach holidays, and then the next commercial is a bikini. That's exactly what happened. She hated that. And I said, why? How smart is it? It is freaking smart. It's very sure that you're gonna buy a bikini. They target you now. So what is that? But I'm totally fine. Everybody should find his way. But as long as you stand, that's what I stand for. That's
But I agree with her. So there's this missing transparency. So I mean, I would like to know what happens around my mobile. But indeed, so we don't have that transparency.
But you want to use it, and that's what I don't like. You want to use it, but you're not accepting that people are smarter with it.
I accept it, but indeed, of course, sometimes you can't follow these kind of speed that tech companies are up with. And I mean, this is also a discussion about, okay, where does the speed come from? It comes from US right now. And we don't have an influence on that. So we missed actually, in AI, we missed this kind of point where we said Europe is going to be a leader in AI. So we're hosting on Amazon. So it's based in Frankfurt, but who cares, right? So at the end, nobody knows what's going to happen. And this is probably coronavirus. Sorry that I bring it up. It's a point, right?
We almost got away with it with this session.
No, we needed to bring it.
I actually know a person who has got issues with digitalization. Enzo, are you there?
No, I'm gone.
No. Oh, we cannot hear you. Turn up the volume. I said to you.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
Yep, absolutely.
Why should I have issue with digitalization? Just for the audio issue here?
Yeah, we kind of started a conversation, and I think we just touched the surface.
So how's it going? All good?
Yeah, all good. As I said, we just started.
I can hear a lot of people on the other side, but I can see them.
You can't see them. We will show you. We will send you some pictures.
All right.
There are thousands.
We have full.
The AI part of the room.
Student hotel.
No, it's the AI part of the room. I mean, we can't see them. They are the silent part.
There you go. We created them spontaneously for this session.
If you put
some
on your
VR
fine glasses, you will see them.
And what about Ryan? What is Ryan?
Ryan is enjoying his beer, which we are all going to do very, very soon as well.
Okay.
We just touched the surface. We just touched the surface with the CRM panel as well. So what I would like to propose is continue the discussion later on Funnel TV with a larger audience on LinkedIn as well. So happy to have you back at some point at Funnel TV.
Okay.
And we have got now virtual reality, one more session on virtual reality. So I get Philip Ibrahim, who is the general manager at the Student Hotel, to introduce the session and do the interview with the panel.
It's going to start right now.
Thank you very much, ladies, and see you soon.
It's going to start right now, Rita?
Yes, so there will be another spontaneous session here by the student hotel that we would love to stream out to the public.
Should I take some little break? Should we have a little break and then you tell me when to start?
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, text me.
See you now. The show must go on.
Yeah, as Rita said, the show must go on. So keep there, guys. Don't leave the channel. We will back. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, guys, welcome back. Ibrahim, you were very busy. Ciao, 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 amigo. You've been so busy. Yesterday, I've seen you so many times live. You're back again.
I'm
Can you hear
like
me?
a sidekick whenever you had like a gap to fill.
So you are a GM, a broadcaster, or also a father, I presume. Also.
I'm a good friend and a good drinker.
Cool. All right, guys, keep going. I stay on the backstage and looking forward to your session.
We're gonna do it 15 minutes, rough and dirty. I'm gonna touch and these two guys introduce them, and then we're ready to go. And then we wrap it up in around 15 minutes, 1-5. Is that okay?
Yeah. So you mean you starting now?
Yeah, if we can, we'll start now.
Yeah, sure, of course. I'm here. When you finish, just call me and I'll be back on the screen. Okay.
Cool. Right. Right, gentlemen, I'm here at the Student Hotel, wrapping the last day of our mini ITP up with two fellows and friends. I'm glad to be here. I'm Philip Ibrahim. Still, my voice is been gone on the way somehow, but we'll fight through this 15 minutes. On my right, it's Andreas Weigel, who is our expert for virtual reality. And we're going to have 2-3 moments that he can introduce him and his company. I'm going to assist a bit with the language because English is not his first language. He speaks 8 languages, but no English. And on my left is Christian, my former colleague and now friend that I worked with in Africa. And he's our expert in terms of revenue management. And these two gentlemen have like a built community where they cater in particular to individual hotels and hoteliers with individual needs. So I'll touch the ground. Christian, probably you will say 2 sentences about yourself and your company and tell them what you do, what you're good at, besides looking great.
Thanks a million, Philip. My name is Christian Huschka. I'm the founder and owner of Hotel.com, the agency and Hotel.com community, which is a community of 5 business partners being specialists in different areas. And the target, what to do is to increase the revenue of private hotels, individual hotels. And we do that based on a business plan, a compact version of a business plan, revenue management in a lighter and also compact form, and professional marketing, which is in several areas for the hospitality.
So basically your target area is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, or is it internet? Well, you started now with these markets. That's where you started at. And it's important to know that you sort of look at the entire picture of the status quo of the hotel that you work with, as well as their collaterals and where they are in terms of their website optimization, that is including pictures, movies, everything that is around that topic, optimizing that, and there you have your partners. That is what you do.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe to phrase it together, it's I have been a hotelier myself the last 22 years and now talk as a hotelier to hoteliers, translate a little bit the tech, a little bit the ABCs and Alpha Bravo Charlies and English technical phrases and just translate it into German and we really understand what we're talking about. And as you fully rightly say, I start with strategy. What is your market? What is your competitors? Where's your positioning? What's going back also one step? What is really your story? What makes you unique? And then to go through these areas, and then having 5 partners with Andy with virtual reality to have that as one visual how to present yourself to the world. And the other one, website, e-commerce, branding, revenue management, market analysis, business analysis, and to have this partners for.
Okay, so you said the most important word, and I think that's what we heard the most over these days is translating. Sometimes I feel that like we hoteliers, we're in our own world and we need translating systems. So virtual reality is something very, very new at the moment, and a lot of people love it. You guys are a mastermind behind that. Is that correct?
Yes, we produce since 20 years virtual reality tours for the tourism industry. And Diginet Media, we built for hotels, for travel agencies, and we make it for different devices. And for 5 years comes the new virtual reality, and I say, what's this? What's virtual reality? And my first step was I looking on the mobile phone, I look at on the Googles. It was crazy. It was so beautiful, and I love it. And now we produce 360-degree panoramic pictures, 360-degree videos, and that's amazing.
So what you basically do is you go and help the hotelier find probably the right product for what he needs. I mean, not every hotel needs probably a full virtual program movie, but 360 degrees is what you do as well. So you find the right thing for the people that you work with.
It's very interesting for the hotel, but it's real, and it's the best way to see the room. You can see the restaurant, you can see all, and 360 degree. It's ehrlich.
Honest. So what is very interesting, I was able to check it earlier, and you not only programs like rooms where you have the feeling you have your glasses on and you have the feeling like you physically see the room and explore the room. He does as well things for the recruitment part of the hotel industry, which is a very interesting side thing as well. So you like a video, I watched the video of a person that is what is that? Doing cutlery, Fleischer. What is the English word?
A butcher.
A butcher, yeah. It was amazing. I said, I want to see a lot of people working hard. And then he showed me a video of how if you're becoming a butcher. That's amazing.
That's real, and that's so beautiful for the students, for the children. You can see all what they make.
Yeah. So it's hard to describe. One day I really hope you can see. So you have your glasses on and you're physically been guided towards the area where they chop the meat and where they produce the sausage. And I mean, it's amazing. And we were able to chat earlier. It's already possible to add a lot of things technologically wise. And the good thing in virtual reality, I think the speed, it's just at the beginning now, right? Yeah. That the processors and everything.
It starts now, but at this moment we can make 360-degree panoramic pictures, but it's still. And now we can also make 360-degree video, and that's so nice. The quality is very good, and you can see it.
Yeah, cool. So the reason is that you're really able to bring the surrounding where the teams are set or where the hotel is towards the client. So that is the biggest asset that you have.
Yeah.
Christian, do you have a lot of times at the moment where you advise hoteliers to do that in order to have a new layer of sales performance for conference rooms or something like that?
Actually, yes, I do. And actually now we come back to maybe the point I said earlier, from a hotelier to a hotelier. I don't think the tech part. I think how as a hotelier I have the biggest benefit out of it. And if you take, so, for example, virtual reality, the part of a specific room type, for example, you have it on your website where people can really look around and really see what is this room looking like, and I get much more information than on a photograph. In a photograph, you have your filters, the right angle, everything is fantastic. With virtual reality, with a 360, it's more real.
You see the dirt when there is something or a bad mark at the thing. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's not one angle. It's you're inside, and you really see that. So the customer really likes that, and gives you even more trust. It's more transparent. You use it as a snippet for your social media marketing. You send that out, you take your target group, send a snippet out, and people can see that. It's fantastic. It really works very well. And the third one, we still have our booking confirmation, which we send out for the guests. They booked this room for this date. You send it out with a link with your confirmation, and the guest sees in 360
what he has booked physically.
What he has booked. So now we're coming back to the customer journey. Where do we start? And to give you again fantastic content where people can really start to feel and look forward to.
So I mean, we already know that pictures beat text and videos beat pictures. So would you say virtual reality will beat videos in the future? So you as a hotelier, you need to have some sort of concept behind that?
I think that virtual reality videos will step by step take over, that you would have the video, you would have the concept, the red line going through it, but instead of a 2D video, it will become more and more 3D, because then you can see the scene and everything, but if you like to, you just turn around and see what's on the other side.
So you can hide.
So, and I think that gets this, it gets more interactive. As the user, you get more control of things, and you can do different things.
Cool.
And don't only get what you get shown.
Just like a one-page thing. Andy, you said earlier that the devices have changed so drastically in the last years, and I was talking about like probably 5 years ago you had this pop paper thing where you put the cardboard where you put your iPhone in, and then it was so clumsy and everything.
That's the first step was you have a mobile phone and you have a Google, and that was very difficult. But the people, it's not easy. Yeah. And now you have the new goggles from Oculus Quest and Oculus Go, and this is now the point we start. And this is very nice
because they are small. They have huge processors. They're quick. They can produce nice pictures.
Yes.
So, would you recommend, or would you talk to Christian and tell a hotelier, if you produce that, have your certain device ready to be something that you can show to people, or is there like a third layer where somebody will promote your stuff with the device when going somewhere? Or to rephrase, do you think everybody in 6-7 years will have his own device at home or his own glasses to use?
I mean, in the next years, we will see a smaller virtual reality like Google.
It's like with the phones, they were big and then they went smaller.
You remember?
Bigger.
You remember the Motorola? The Knochen, the big one. And now we have a little phone. We have an iPhone, and that's the same way with the Googles.
Cool. So guys, I would say let's wrap it up. Enzo, if you're there, these two gentlemen will be ready to talk to any questions that will occur. Christian Huschka will be ready to translate everything for Andy when it's from any language or angle that we don't understand. So thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, really.
Thank you. And have a great evening. We wrap it up with you too.
Back to the studio.
Back to the studio.
Back to the fight. Bye, guys.
Great. Thanks a million.
Great, everybody. So,
I tell you what, this looks pretty good on camera, doesn't it? We're going to have to come back here more often.
Right, guys. So great job. I had a lot of people sharing feedback on the fact that there was this live stream, especially yesterday, which was very long. A lot of people really appreciate the fact that there was this kind of connection between the networking event on a venue and someone which was not there, of course, and I had a chance to follow some live stream yesterday and today too. So really great plan, Ryan. Congrats, Rita, great job. Really, I'm really proud to be friend of you guys. Really.
Scored.
Right. Okay. So things are really calming down here in Berlin. People are starting to make their way home. Those, especially who are only here for a couple of days, and they didn't have to sit on the stand, and they only knew that they're going to be in Berlin for a couple of days. They are now heading home. So things are very calm here at the student hotel. A few more drinks left this evening, and well, I believe that's pretty much the end of ITB.
Yeah.
Except one thing. ITB themselves are hosting ITB Digital.
Oh, really?
Yes. Just
they are
found this out.
copying us.
So if you check out ITB website, they have apparently a full program of virtual conventions, and there's going to be a lot of discussions and interviews in exactly the same way that we've been doing over the last couple of days. So it's a great place to get more content and find out what's happening in the marketplace at the moment and how you can deal with these current situations. But Enzo, can't thank you enough, and I can't thank you, Rita.
Well, thank you. It's been lovely to work for you for the first time, but not the last time, I hope.
Right.
We had a pretty crazy situation, literally grabbing people from the floor, dragging them into a tiny room, but people were very, very happy to enter. We had this afternoon the CRM panel. I mean, we had 6 different CRM companies on the floor, very respectively, very collectively, talking about, not only the current situation, but how to look into the future, how to improve together, how to develop together within the hospitality industry. And I can't talk about this crazy panel that just happened right now with AI. I mean, this went to a whole different level now, and I feel that we have to continue all these discussions in Funnel TV.
You know what? They all talk about democratizing something, right? Let's democratize TV for the travel, tech, and hospitality industry. Let's make this a real platform for people to be part of, right, Enzo? I mean, that's why you did it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, that's our intention: democratize and make those contents accessible to anyone, especially hoteliers, of course. And this is the show there.
There you go.
Right. Time
All
to
right.
wrap up.
See you tomorrow at Digital.
No, tomorrow is not going to be there. That was a different plan because ITB was there. So it's going to be next week. So guys, have a little break. Don't worry. Keep going with your drinks, and we'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you, Enzo.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.